Good morning. Welcome to Bible study. In today's story, you're going to hear a word that I want to make sure that you know and understand. The word is famine. Have you heard the word famine before? Do you know what it means? A famine happens when there is an extreme shortage of food someplace in the world. When there is a famine, it means that in that area, there is not enough food to eat for weeks, for months, maybe even years. Sometimes a famine happens because there is not enough rain. Sometimes it happens because there's too much rain and the crops die. Famine can sometimes be caused by war, which makes it difficult for people to grow food. During Bible times, when there was a famine, people had to make hard choices. They could buy food from other places. They could eat food they had saved up during years when they had a lot of food. They could leave their homes and move to a new place where there was food. But sometimes there were people who couldn't do any of these things, and those people may die from starvation of not having enough. Today's story, we're going to hear about a famine. But before we hear it, let's remember all that we've learned that led up to this story. God called Abraham and Sarah to leave their home and go to a land God would show them. God promised to bless them, make a great nation from them, and give them the land of Canaan. They had a son named Isaac. Isaac grew up, got married, and had twin boys named Jacob and Esau. Jacob tricked his brother Esau to get his birthright and a blessing from their father. Esau was furious and wanted to kill Jacob. After 20 years, Jacob and Esau made peace with each other. Jacob had 12 sons. Joseph was his favorite son. This made the other sons angry. They sold Joseph to merchants who took him to Egypt. Joseph was thrown in prison for 2 years. Later, he told Pharaoh the meaning of Pharaoh's dreams. Pharaoh chose Joseph to be in charge of sorting grain for all of Egypt in preparation for the famine. Joseph and his family reunion. Genesis 42 through 46. Joseph lived in Egypt. He had not seen his family for many years. They lived in Canaan. All over the land, people were hungry. It didn't rain and the crops didn't grow. The only place to get food was in Egypt, where Joseph had stored grain in great barns. Father Jacob told his sons, "Go to Egypt and buy food for our family. We are hungry." Jacob's sons went to Egypt and bought grain. Joseph saw his brothers, but they did not recognize him. They went back home without knowing that their brother was a ruler in Egypt. Soon, Jacob said, "We are hungry again. Go buy more food." The brothers went back to Egypt, taking gifts and extra money. Joseph saw his brothers. Once again, they did not know it was Joseph. This time, as the brothers were leaving, Joseph called to bring them back. Joseph cried and cried. "I am Joseph, your brother," he said. The brothers were afraid because they had treated Joseph very badly when he was young. But Joseph said, "Long ago you sent me far away, but God brought me here to save your lives. God has helped me become a strong leader." The brothers hugged each other. They hurried home. "Father," they said, "your son Joseph is alive." Jacob said, "Joseph is alive? How can this be? I must go to Egypt to see him." Jacob gathered his whole family. They went to Egypt to be near Joseph. Joseph came out in his chariot to meet them. Joseph hugged his father and cried with joy. I wonder what it was like to have to travel such a far way to get food. Joseph's brothers traveled a long, long way for food. I wonder what the trip was like for them. I wonder how Joseph's brothers felt when he told them who he was. I wonder which part of this story you liked the best. And I wonder what this story is making you think about. Over the last 6 weeks, we've learned a lot about this family. Abraham and Sarah had Isaac. Isaac had the twins Jacob and Esau. And Jacob had 12 sons, including Joseph. These are the beginnings of God's people. In the Old Testament, they're often called the Israelites. We'll continue to learn and hear stories of God's people in the coming weeks. Let's wonder and imagine and read and listen together. I'll see you again next week.